What's up, guys? Welcome back to Mikey Yourself. And on this week's video, what we're going to do is we're going to swap out the rear suspension on the 2017 Road Glide. And what we're going to do is we're going to pull off these old, well, I say old, but I guess so maybe, right? 2017. We're going to take old shocks off of a 2017 Road Glide and put even older shocks on it. What I mean by that is we're going to take these ones here, these preload adjustment type shocks, and we're going to replace them with the air assisted shocks from Harley Davidson that we pulled off the 07 Road King. Now, if you haven't watched that video already, you know that we swapped out the air assisted shock from the Road King with an air ride and compressor because that bike's going through the process of being choloed out, right? So that's a whole nother journey. Check out those videos if you haven't already. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Glad to have you as part of this community. I hope you enjoy this video. If you do, hit that thumbs up, become a subscriber. Love to hear your feedback. And if you're a returning watcher, hey, thanks. I'm glad to see you again. So let's go ahead and jump into this project. What we're going to do first is we're going to swap out the oil that's in those air shocks with a little heavier weight. So if you don't know, stock shock oil is about 5 weight, right? Or at least in the rear, about 5 weight. And that allows that oil, because it's not as thick, to move through those valves a lot easier, right? Well, I'm a bigger boy, so having that oil move through the shock so quickly, which makes it kind of, I want to say spongy, but you know, not as resistant, doesn't always work in my favor. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw a little bit heavier weight in there. And what we're going to do is we're going to use 10 weight motor oil to really kind of slow that process down. It's going to give it a little bit of a stiffer ride, but I make up the difference for that. And then we can actually lessen the need for the amount of air that's put into that shock to assist it. We're going to have to toy around with that because we don't have settings that are created for that 10 weight. So it's going to be kind of a figure it on the fly. Will it work? I don't know. Is it going to feel better? I don't know. The only way to find out is to give it a try and just have fun doing it. So I hope you watch this, or I hope you enjoy watching this video, and let's jump right into it. So the first step to drain these, and I've seen a couple of videos, people do them different ways. They talk about using something called like a mighty vac or whatever, but what I did is remove the valve here. So this is the valve where the airline goes into. And at first I was attempting to do kind of the hang it upside down and let it drain overnight. And if you look down the hole there, let's see if we can get a good angle, let some sunlight in there or something. Yeah, you really can't see it. It's a very small hole. And the thought is if you hang them upside down, slowly the oil will drain out and by the next day it'll be done. The problem is that's not what happened for me. So to kind of make things progress a little further, like I said, there were all kinds of different ways. What I found that worked best for me was using a turkey baster. So I just kind of fit that in and it fits in there nice and snug, and held the shock upside down while I, you know, smash the bulb and then suck the fluid out. It takes a while, so there's about 10 to 12 ounces of fluid in these things, and this turkey baster is only a 3/4 ounce baster if you go to this line. Of course I wasn't going just to that one, I was going here, so it took about 10 or so round trips and then just kind of put that off to the side. So now we're at a point of knowing they are empty, and you could actually, when I was kind of swinging them back and forth, when they had fluid, you could hear the fluid move in there. I don't know if that's necessarily true when they're 100% full. I guess we can find that out later. But now I know that they are completely empty, and all we have to do is inject the fluid back in. Now, there's a couple of ways to do this. One of them I actually don't have here, and that's a syringe, an automotive syringe. They're usually about 2 ounces, and you fill those up and you inject it in. I have one in the garage. We may have to move to that if these other methods don't work out for me. We'll see. So what I did is I just went to the Walmart when I bought the oil and picked up one of these ketchup bottles here, and what we're going to do is fill it up. It's 10 ounces, so that's exactly what I need, or what I'm going to put into these shocks. And it's got a very narrow tip on it, so it's not won't necessarily create a full vacuum or whatever, seal on that, but it's going to get it down in there. And my hope is if I slowly inject it and release, it'll fill up the shock. So we'll see how that goes. If that doesn't work, you may try out the turkey baster and kind of force it in. Now, when you do that, you have to be aware that when you're creating that seal there, if you're pushing fluid or whatever in, that's going to displace air that exists within the shock. So you'll need to, slowly either pull this out, or if you have the syringe, when you fill it in, you push it down about halfway, you wait a couple of seconds, and then pull it up about a little ways up. So that way you can relieve some of that air pressure, and then you push the fluid down, and you kind of do that back and forth, or you can pull the syringe out of the back, which will let that air escape. So let me get you set up on a tripod, and we'll try this ketchup bottle thing. Okay, so I got my 10 ounces in the bottle, and I'm ready to fill up the shock. So I'm going to do this inside of a oil catch, so that way if I make a mess, it just lands in the catch and I can dump that into my reservoir for recycling later. But let's give this a run, see how it goes. All right, so you saw I kind of made a little bit of a mess. If I try to squeeze the bottle too fast, then it doesn't go into the hole quick enough. So if I slowly do this, it seems to work pretty decent. But I do realize if an air bubble kind of blocks the vent or the hole, using the syringe or the turkey baster, I'm able to kind of just pump it really quick. So it looks like this is going to work. Yeah, I'll go ahead and high speed this and see what it looks like when we're done. All right, so there you go. That's the process. What I definitely need to do, and I have my Teflon tape elsewhere, but these fittings, when you take them off, they have Teflon tape on them. You're going to want to replace that so that way it doesn't leak through, because I promise you it will. So just go ahead and replace the Teflon tape there. So as soon as I get a chance, I'll be doing that before we introduce them back into the bike. The other nice thing about having that thicker oil is you don't need as much air pressure in order to assist the shock because of that thickness of the oil. So that's something else you're going to have to kind of play with as you do your riding to figure out what's the right pressure for you now that you've kind of changed the game. I did switch over to the turkey baster instead of using this bottle because it was taking a lot longer. I was able to knock out the filling up with the turkey baster much faster. My turkey baster is old, so I did spill a little bit, but I mean, it's I'm not worried about how much spilled out. It's very, very little. It's probably, not even going to be noticeable really. So I'm going to go ahead and knock out the other shock, put the Teflon tape, and then we'll start throwing them onto the Road Glide. Okay, so this really is pretty simple. It's a matter of removing 4 bolts, getting the old shocks off, and putting these new ones on, or new to this bike ones, I don't know. So we're gonna get that swapped out. The only other thing that's added in is the air line, so you have to have your valve that you're going to use to inflate the suspension, or not inflate it, but essentially add pressure, and the hoses that go to that. So I removed this straight from the old bike. Hopefully the hoses will be long enough to reach on this one, and there is a hole that's already available for us to mount this in, and I don't know if that's something that was just kind of factory and they kept pumping them out, or what the story is, but we're gonna get this thing swapped out. But step one, let's get these bags off. Okay, so now that we have those bags off, all we need to do is go ahead and remove the 2 bolts, right? And if you watched that last video, like I said, there is a little bit of a trick because you're gonna have to toy around with your scissor jack or whatever you're using to lift up your bike, just to make sure you get that pressure off so it's easy to remove these. So once we get these off, we can put the replacements on. And what's really nice about these is you don't have to worry about a left or a right, but you do need to make sure that your air inlet is facing forward. So they're going to sit like that. So let's go ahead and get this shock off. Okay, so now that we have both shocks on, all we need to do is run our air lines. And as I mentioned, this hole here, I've seen other people utilize, or when they instruct you on adding air to your air ride, this valve pokes through there. So we're going to try to go ahead and utilize that. I've got to figure out kind of how to access it, because I'm not sure if it's just straight from the bottom or what, but we're going to get that figured out real quick. Run our short line to here, and then our long one there, and then we'll add a little bit of pressure. So let's get this airline ran. All right, so we've got our lines run. And what I did is I went ahead and I just used where the strap goes over the passenger or over the seat. That little slit, I was actually able to put that valve in, so it's very easily accessible, and I can throw a little cool cap on it or whatever, just to make sure. I've already preloaded this or added in some additional air pressure. I got it set to about 17 PSI, and I'll have to adjust it from there to figure out what is the right pressure needed now that we have the actual heavier oil in the shock. So let me go ahead and finish putting this back together, and our next step, we got to take it for a test ride. All right, let's get a freeway run in, see how these shocks feel at a little higher speed. So did a freeway test, road test, it feels okay. The one thing I gotta say is the front shocks on this thing suck. I definitely need to upgrade those for sure. I gotta do my homework on it. I don't know anything about the aftermarket stuff, you know, when it comes to the front shocks on this. I do know they offer, of course, air shocks, but now the point of this is more about the ride versus the look of the bike, versus my Cholo is going to be more about the look of the bike than it is the ride. All right guys, that's it for the show. I hope you enjoyed it. Again, as I get more time on these rear shocks, I'll be able to really get a good feel for whether or not they perform better than those stock pre-adjust or preload shocks that came with the 2017. So in about a month or so, I'll be able to get a good amount of miles and be able to take a couple of trips. You know, definitely want to do a 2-up to see how it performs with 2 riders on the bike, and provide you guys back, you know, the information to let you know whether or not this is something worthwhile or something that's definitely not worthwhile. Again, no loss here. It wasn't like I bought anything. It was just using old shocks and testing them out and seeing if I can get a better ride out of them. So look forward to that next video. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and if you did, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoy my community, my content, become a subscriber, and until that next video does post, I hope to see you in the wind.